All right, getting a good little connection. I am going to be hauling again. Right now I'm in the Taurus. I have my second account up in the turret, my deterrent in the turret. I'm going to be listening to Space Tomato 2 and Jack Axton like they're on radio while I do some hauling. Get this started.
I am good. And
I'm going to start it over. Oh, wait. Oh. It's live. We're going to Walla 45. I'll listen to Space Tomato and Jack Axton.
hello, friends. Welcome to episode 28 of the Launch Sequence Podcast. I am your host,
And
Keenan.
of course, it's not going through
You
my
can also
earbud.
call me Tomato.
I'm a noob.
And I'm here with Jack Axton, a well-known king of cargo and economy.
Very well known.
One of the go-to sources for pricing and information regarding all those kinds of things in Star Citizen. How you doing, dude?
Man, I am not too bad. Thank you for having me on today, Keenan.
Of course.
I do appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a pretty good day so far. Doing all right. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm great. I am good. And before we get started today, I actually had a couple of little podcast statistics that I'm a little proud about. Spotify decided to send to us recently, and I wanted to tell, obviously, the amazing people who do listen to this podcast about them. So we, let's see, are at about an estimated audience of over 260 people, which is insane to me, which is freaking awesome. Thank you guys so much.
That must
My
be
heart.
awesome.
My tomato seeds. And 19
Tomato
people
seeds.
apparently listen to this podcast more than any other one on Spotify. You guys are what drives this forward. Thank you for that. It kind of blows my mind. And to be honest, a lot of that comes from the people who come on to this podcast.
Oh.
I am just a person who invites them and
Broke
talks
my
to them.
own rule.
But everybody who's
Had
come
cruise
on here
control
so far
on
has
coming
been
out of
amazing
QT.
with conversation and topics and just being very interesting. And you know, Jack, now I've set the stage. You better not mess it up, man.
Hey, I will do my best. Congratulations.
Thank
By
you.
the way, that's good stuff. Like even getting on Spotify, period. That's
Damn
a
it,
testament
somebody's
right there.
there.
Congrats.
Oh, I appreciate it. And I know you won't actually mess it up. We've talked for like
Just
5
an
minutes
Aquila,
already
so-
about cargo hauling, and I'm pumped. So I think you guys are gonna like this episode. First though, before we get into that kind of stuff, I do it with everybody, and I want to know.
Let's go to 45.
Well, actually, I'm going to start before that. I want to talk to you about YouTube. You stream on YouTube, which not many people do. Why is that? Why'd you decide on doing
I wish I could say it was something about like metrics or whatever, but it's honestly because I'm lazy. I already had a YouTube channel, and I didn't see the point in having to set up a whole other platform for streaming. So I thought, you know what? I can stream, do videos all in the same place. I'll just do that. And it just kind of ended up working out, you know?
that? It's a very, very straightful reason, and a good one.
Let's
I mean,
go to
like,
56.
it makes complete
I
sense.
forget
That's what
if
I'm
it's
gonna
40
do.
or 56 I want to
I
go
don't need
to.
to split myself between two. I can just focus on one. But yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. Like, you know, why have like 3 or 4 different platforms when it's easier just to have the one?
Right.
I think it's going to make me go to an OM.
Now that we've got that out of the way, the real question that I ask everybody when they come on here is really, what brought you to Star Citizen? What was your history of gaming? Were you a freelancer person, or did you just like space
Oh,
games
it's
in
going.
general? Like, I came from Xbox, so I didn't know any of Chris Roberts' stuff before. I've seen all kinds of stories.
Oh, man, I'm actually kind of the same way. I never actually heard of Chris Roberts. Where I grew up, like, gaming was kind of hard to get a hold of. But the first PC I ever had, which was older than I was like this old 85 Packard Bell.
Ooh-wee.
And yeah, exactly, Packard. But I had this game called Solar Winds 2 on floppy drive, which again, pretty sure that floppy drive was older than I was.
Floppies, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, it was a space game, and I didn't really have a lot of exposure to a lot of sci-fi stuff, like Star Wars, things like that. And like the few space games that I got a hold of, you know, I was enamored with. But there wasn't really a lot of sci-fi, and especially like in, you know, like the late 2000s, 2010 era, there wasn't really a lot of that. But I finally got around to building a PC. Finally, that wasn't like some Toshiba laptop or whatever, and getting back into serious PC gaming. And I was kind of looking for like a a sci-fi MMO, and EVE Online wasn't really there for me. Vendetta was ancient at that time.
I haven't even heard of Vendetta.
Yeah, no, Vendetta, like it's a neat little game, but it's one of those where it's like there's 12 players.
Okay.
They're still kind of keeping it going, but it's not exactly big.
Yeah.
But
One of those cult classics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's it's nice, but if you've never played it, you're probably not going to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
But I had seen the Kickstarter for back when it was still Squadron 42, and I had initially passed on it in 2012. It's like, it's single player. I'm looking more of a
Can't remember if I was supposed to go to 48 or
something I can play with
56.
friends. And then 2014 rolls around. I was
Still
like,
has diamonds.
what's this? What is this beautiful looking game with these Space Ford commercials for this
Space
freelance?
Ford.
That's what sold me.
The
Space
commercial.
Ford. Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They got
that
dual
was...
colloid ion engines.
Mm-hmm. That was
And,
I was literally going to reference that while we were talking today. That is like,
that's it. That commercial sold me. Like, seeing that they did the car commercial quality style for advertising the spaceships, or the knockoff Jeremy Clarkson.
yeah, exactly.
With Jax McCleary, and that's what sold me. So I think I ended up picking up a 325A, telling myself like, oh, this is all I'm gonna spend. Like, this is already more than what I normally spend on a game. I won't spend it that. Oh man, if I could have gone back in time.
Same exact ship.
You have to remember to
Okay, so you know how I feel, man.
Yeah.
make sure I check my
remember
second
that was
account
like-
so it doesn't go AFK.
My job is
Oh,
to
they got
make
commercials.
college easier because students have a
I'm gonna
lot
have to skip.
Sorry, Coach. Plates. Like Harper, an econ major who piles
Radio
on the
with
pressure.
commercials.
Grammarly can help her stress less.
This term paper's got to be great. It's a
Wow.
Like almost 8 years ago.
I might have
for
to
me
move
now.
my other account now.
Yeah, 2014 for me. Yeah, like
Wow.
October 10th, I want to say 2014.
Yeah, so we're around the same time. Like early,
Yeah.
I think like
Okay.
early to mid
That's
200,000s in terms of the number of signups. I think is
Yeah.
around there. So that was an early time to get into it. Like that was you saw the commercials, you
I was
realized they were
going to that
passionate
one.
about creating a cool space game, but it was before
I think
we had
I
really
flew
gotten to see
away
some
from
of
where I
the
need to
more
go.
amazing things that we get to experience
Wait,
now,
no,
like
I didn't.
planets and
Oh, it's right
just
there.
a
Wow,
lot
I got
of the
turned
ships
around.
that we have and like
No,
the way that the
that's
economies work and mining and all that stuff.
Not it.
Was that all just the cherry on top, or did you had you already looked into the game and realized that's where it was going?
It's got to be that over there.
Yeah, I mean, I actually started looking into it after seeing
So
the
I was
commercials.
looking at that blue antenna,
And,
thinking it was the orange antenna.
Once I saw that there was actually going to be medical gameplay,
Oh,
Oh,
I was, that's actually what got me into it. Which that didn't last very long. I kind of shifted gears after a while.
Clearly.
But just seeing like, oh boy, you can cargo, you can fight, you can do all this other stuff. There's gonna be medical.
Yeah.
Sign me up. Like I'll get me a space ambulance.
yeah, and it's
just
hard
seeing all
to.
the.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, just seeing all the different things that you would actually be able to do instead of just like the three. Usually
take
like in all
30.
the space games, it's mining, trading, fighting. That's it. That's all you get to do.
Right.
And Star Citizen was going to offer more.
ooh, I can't remember
That's
the
what
right
really got me into
price.
Yeah, they went into detail and they got expansive, and they really sold the vision.
I should have got Astatine.
I was just talking to I was.
I
getting some
should have
help
did
with my
Astatine
internet
first.
here yesterday.
I
and
messed up.
The guy
Oh,
was
well.
asking about the setup and like,
I'm so used to
what are you
buying
broadcasting to
diamonds.
people? And I told him it's Star Citizen, it's like this space game. And,
I'm at
you know,
56,
It's a
right?
multiplayer game. It's been in development a while.
Well, I can't remember
And
where
he's
I
like,
landed.
"So
I
what
landed.
exactly
I think
do
I
you
landed
do
at
in the game?
56.
Like, do you fight people, or are you like exploring, or what are you doing? And of course, I had to make the whole, well, you don't do much now because it's not finished yet joke, which obviously didn't really
56. Okay.
he didn't get because he doesn't know how long it's been in development. But then I told him, I was like,
Oh
to
look,
be
a helmet.
honest, I don't know how to define the things that you can do because there's just more things popping up all over the like it's not
that I need. I'm probably losing money per hour because I'm messing with this silly helmet.
Boxes back and forth to other ships, but there's not really a job for that. Like, you're not cargo hauling, you're just helping other people cargo haul. But that's what you can do in this game because there's so much detail. So I get what you're saying. Like, you look at this game and it's just like, well, you can't define one play style, and that's, I think, probably what makes it so attractive.
It was actually Jack that told me to
Like it's
kneel
less
down
of a question
between
of,
gravity belts.
what do you do, and more of a question of what do you want to do.
To not die there,
which is cool. So let's get into the cargo hauling then. You said that you haven't really been in a game like this before, if I understand correctly. So that the whole tracking these prices and the market value and the state of trade, that's all just brand new kind of stuff, or is that stuff you were interested in games before?
Yeah, actually, it makes me feel silly to say it, but yeah, it actually is brand new. Like, I've played other games with, hauling and trading and stuff, like Elite Dangerous, but even before that, like, cargo hauling in games just never really interested me. Like, it was kind of hard to
I'm just gonna take it to 18
to keep up with, to wrap my head around. Like, Star Citizen
get a couple of side spots for the tourists.
Was really my first foray into it, and learning that was rough at first. But yeah, like, that was literally my first stab at it, and I kind of tripped into it.
That's pretty impressive, because I think you've got it kind of locked down at this point. Obviously, the game's still far away, but you have like this format on your videos where you know the prices, you know the changes, and I know that must be a ton of work to keep track of that stuff. But for somebody who's just kind of jumping into it for the first time, it's really good, man.
Is our president a child murderer?
I would really love to see these orgy parties that Vice President Estaba
I love commercials.
attend.
What's wrong with our anthem? Why change it so drastically? Is this
Wow.
Oh man, thank you. Like, I'm going to admit it is a headache to keep track of.
I bet.
It is time consuming, but yeah, no, it is fun to play with, that's for sure.
You're creating a new profession. You're gonna have the people who are doing the hauling and the people who are like figuring out what they should be hauling. And to be honest, is that something that you have aspirations to? Is like, do you want to continue to be the source of that and build upon it?
Like, I've thought about it. I would like to, although honestly, I'm still kind of waiting for the in-game prices where you can actually see what prices are without having to go check everything.
Yeah.
Because like the biggest issue, yeah, exactly. Like, let's go back to BlizzCon. It's like, you're telling me I can't call up Humboldt Mines and see what the price is. Like, are you telling me these guys don't have phones? Like, it's 29.51. I can't be like, hey, Shubin Mining, what's the price of titanium? It's like, you just have to come down here and check.
Yeah. That's very annoying.
Like, you got a comm array that can narc on me as soon as I accidentally,
Yeah, I like screenshots.
hit somebody, but I can't use that same comm array to call an outpost and see the price of tungsten.
Right. You can't just like tell me what something costs next door real quick. Yeah, and obviously, like, it's a development thing, but that must definitely. So is that kind of are you waiting for that sort of functionality to make that decision?
I think so, because okay, so this is going to sound silly. As far as trading goes, I actually make less money now trading because I spend so much time, getting these prices and watching the trends, and it's not even really about the money for me. Like, I don't care about the money. I enjoy the act of trading more than anything else. But
Ooh, probably get both of them in the same screenshot.
I found myself actually making more cash trading back in the old trade model where the average profit margin was only 5% than I do now. And I think it's because, just spending all that time tracking these prices, because you'll spend an hour and a half just in one system, just checking all the outposts. And now that we've got Microtech, Crusader, ArtCorp, all those, it takes hours.
So is
just to check everything.
What would you say is the average profit margin right now?
It really depends. Okay, so the IAE was really bad for trade. Really bad. I wouldn't even want to say bad, just, since everyone has access to like free ships and free fly and whatnot. the economy.
No, can't really get
The economy
both.
can't even really support the standard amount of players that we have, much less, IAE and free C2s everywhere.
Yeah.
So while the average profit margin was around 20-ish% or a bit less going in, you're probably looking more at like 13 to 15% on the average margin. And, margins only matter so much. At a certain point, you have to look at the actual profit versus the margin.
Right.
But, profits tanked. Like, you will not see decent prices on titanium, astatine, diamond for a while.
Yeah, I can't get 2 shots at once.
I see. So that was the market responding to the
Kinda
amount
can.
of people?
All right, I'm done.
Or was that something that CIG was doing?
It was mostly just the market. CIG has actually been very hands-off.
Things you do, we don't have to worry about 30Ks.
Okay. But for everybody who's listening, you're confirming that there is a dynamic economy that's running in the game right now.
Yes, like for now, there is a 100% dynamic economy.
Okay.
It is 100% decided by players, and it's shared across all servers in all regions. So if someone in Russia buys out all the titanium at Humboldt Mines, you show up in 8 minutes to buy it. There's not going to be titanium, even if you're in Australia.
Right. And the problem being that there's just not enough, like you were saying, not enough capacity for everybody to be doing.
So awesome.
Yeah, exactly. They actually adjusted how it works. I don't know if you get time for a bit of a history lesson.
Oh, please.
With that, but okay. So back in the day, when they first adjusted the economy 3.6 with the new prices, there were 3 separate economies by region: Australia, Europe, USA. And Europe had the worst because they have the most amount of players, so more people on the same size economy. Australia had the best because there were just so few people, so a lot of people traded on the Australian servers.
Makes sense.
3.10, they actually rolled them all together. However, they didn't increase the refresh rates, the stocks, or the demand rates, or anything. So they shoved 3 different economies into the size of one economy without increasing anything, and it has shown growing pains, and they have not touched it since.
Yeah. So I thought, or at least
This game,
I am way over.
you're not ready for it.
Oh, another commercial. I don't think I can land from over here. I'm gonna try to get in there. I know it's an illusion of where I am.
You're in the middle of this beautiful sci-fi environment.
Shadow's helping.
You're seeing intrigue, the espionage, the alliances form. The power that shifts around.
You never tell how
amazing
far
to
forward.
watch.
Simple actions.
We'll take it. These are in the big hangar.
Compete with them, make friendships, deceive them, betray them.
All right.
Just other players.
I guess that's the sign of how successful Tomato is. He gets a lot of ads.
People were saying, "Hey, it seems like demand has been, rather they've added more supply in, and things are starting to equal out a bit again." Was that kind of a false alarm, or was that just a very, very temporary fix? What happened there?
Yeah, it was a false alarm. So what happened was, right before 3.15 went live, and 3.15 was cooking for a very long time.
Oh yeah.
In PTU, like a solid month.
Yeah.
But for that month, or at least a little bit before it, there was an issue for about the last 3 or 4 patches. Actually, it could have been since 3.6, and we just might not have noticed it because of the separated economies. But there was an issue where whenever a new server came online, like from a 30K or player overflow,
Actually,
whenever
we're
the
gonna
server
leave
would
that
come online,
character
it would
in here
actually
and just
remove
store it.
commodities and demand from all other servers. So, for example, like most outposts, when they come online on a fresh server, they don't have full stock. They have like a percentage, like 1/3.
So I love to look at the
But when
cargo
it
I buy
unifies with the refresh
for whatever
check
dumb reason.
or for the next update for how much is going out, the servers don't see that as a coming online. It counts those as a purchase. So if it has a maximum stock of like 100 SCU, but it spawns in with 30, it counts that as buying 70 and subtracts that from the purchase. So it wipes out from all other locations and all other servers. And yeah, and, with the server instability we have with 30K, things like that, with new servers coming online all the time across all regions, it pretty much explained why trade was terrible. Like,
Yeah.
aluminum would be wiped out. Nobody touches aluminum.
Nobody.
But like, you'd show up to a
Not
place
even
and
as
they
a
had, like,
filler.
40 SU of aluminum because of that. But they fixed that. They did a hot fix on it where things would actually spawn in full, or at least it wouldn't, like, self-consume. But they did that at the tail end of 3.14. 3.15 had a wipe. Since 3.15 had a wipe, nobody was trading. So, there's 3 or 4 people in 3.14 trading. They go, oh, hey, look, stock is good. It's like, no, it's just, there's nobody trading. So,
no one has any money.
3.15 came back online. You've got people hitting the trade lanes once again. And it's the first wipe we've had in 18 months, so everyone's out there trying to make money.
Yeah.
And,
I was one of them.
Exactly.
Me was too.
I had a really great run of some acetine, titanium in like the first 3 hours, and then it all went to crap.
Same old.
So, just, it's that thing where it looks like it's good because nobody's doing it, but the demand quickly outstripped the supply, and now we're pretty much back to where we were.
Yeah, it was just a market without much.
I really need to write
labor.
down how much I paid for it. I have no memory except for the screenshot of what I paid for that.
Like, like the drug economy. The drug economy is still terrible. It's been the same since 3.5.1. They haven't touched it.
That's a bummer. And I'm guessing this is stuff that's just not going to happen until the cargo refactor. I think that's what everybody's kind of assuming at this point, yeah? Is that...
Yeah.
You thinking there might be more?
Yeah, like... the cargo refactor, the thing that's worried me about it the most, they always mention... They never really call it the refactor, they call it, like, cargo physicalization. And it kind of feels like the refactor is just being more tacked on than really invested in. But maybe that's just me being pessimistic. Because it always seems like the detail is in the physicalization rather than the actual updating of how the economy works. And I know that's going to be quantum and things like that, but...
Yeah, if you go to the actual card itself on the progress tracker, I think the description says something like allows both found and purchased cargo to be picked up, moved around, and placed into the cargo grid of a ship. So it does, yeah, you're right. It does seem like they're really focusing more on the fact that this is just making cargo interactable rather than fixing the overall system.
Yeah, and I mean, I know they only use like, one sentence to describe the the release view. Like, they're not exactly like books or anything, but it seems like it's definitely more of a focus on the physicalization than the actual overhaul, which we still need. It's an alpha. I can't complain too much as much as I want to.
We are here to basically make sure that they know it's broken and they know it's broken. I do hope, though, that we get a solid, reliable economy at this stage in alpha. I know that's asking for a good amount, but it would be nice if, at least if it's not the cargo refactor itself, maybe we're looking at quantum picking up a little more of the slack to take over the supply and demand there.
Exactly. Like, there's so many squandered commodities in the game.
Yeah.
And I know the commodities are just arbitrary names assigned to numbers, but there are things that just nobody touches, like aluminum, iodine, things like that. There's no reason to haul them except to go, well, I can say that I did it, and I would like to see a reason to move those things.
Yeah. So that's actually a nice little segue for, I wanted to talk about like minerals and harvestables. And you said, nobody takes aluminum anywhere. Aluminum's dumb. We don't need it. But somebody has to use it, right? Like ships and stuff, they have to use it. So it sounds like you're kind of seeing a future where something that's worthless, like aluminum, that miners will get 100% aluminum rock and say no, will eventually have reasons to want to get that rock, give it to the cargo haulers who are taking it to the...
I got lost for a second.
You see an economy where every material kind of has that sort of value, or do you think there's always going to be a meta that pushes something out of the market, like aluminum?
I mean, ideally, I would like to see a value for everything, like taking metals to R&Rs to be used for ship repairs, or paying premiums for hydrogen, finding reasons to do those out of the way routes, like corundum. Who uses corundum? I don't know.
I can't remember what I paid for
to see
that.
a reason to freight it somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
Because right now our biggest issue is that the economy is focused on just transporting raw materials to port cities. And, eventually there'll be a stage where you have manufactured goods that you get to take back out. But it's all going one way right now. It's all going to port cities.
Okay,
Every now and then you've got to run this outpost to
screenshots.
outpost, like chlorine to
See what
medical
I paid for
supplies
those.
or medical outposts, or running like 5 units of stims somewhere. But yeah, like I want to see an economy where instead of just some meta where it's like, oh, laranite, just run laranite.
Yeah.
I want to see a reason to freight other things. Like I don't touch laranite. I don't. Like it's a great cargo. I'm not gonna touch it. Like
82,000 for my laranite,
else,
and I sold
like,
it
yeah,
for
I'm gonna make less money, but I'm risking a lot less.
82,000.
I want a reason to fill up on hydrogen,
I made
on
9,000.
chlorine, on
Little more
something
than
else.
9,000.
I want to be able to go, hey,
And
I'm going to
diamond
point A,
76.
then I'm going to go to point B, then C, then D, instead of just repeating the same run.
Yeah. Setting up trade that I think that's really
76,
the dream
64,
of
so I made
cargo hauling that
12,
nobody really
so
take part in.
19,000.
To be honest, I was going to
yeah.
ask you, how do you even find trade routes in this game?
And
right now?
astatine, I paid
From
30.
what I can understand, it's basically just picking and guessing and seeing how much profit you make on one versus
Made
another,
6,
right?
so
Pretty much.
36,000,
Like if you're not using
yeah,
third-party
give or
websites,
Yeah.
you're
I mean,
kind
I
of just
can't be
stumbling
mad,
around. Like there are no
36,000.
real. Okay, I say
Kind
that.
of my fault, 'cause I
They've
didn't.
got the whole journal entry thing now.
I should
for
probably
some
let
prices,
laranite just tick
But
all the way.
aside from that, there is no way to,
What was the
to
laranite
find that out
price?
in game. And the journal update they have is very limited.
So
It
it's for
tracks like processed
732.
food,
Medical
distilled
supplies.
spirits, and
Yeah.
medical supplies, which distilled spirits and medical supplies have some of
27.
the worst refresh rate for legal commodities.
27.75.
So you're usually not going to see an update on those medical supplies because it only updates whenever they're
31 one,
understock
okay.
for demand or overstock on supply, and they're not going to be overstocked on supply anytime soon.
Got to move the other account
The
around
refresh rate,
before
I think it's like
he
3,000 units per minute,
goes away.
which is terrible.
Yeah, considering how many people are going to be. Trying
Exactly,
to
and
pick
everyone
them up.
should up with a caterpillar or a C2.
Gonna
They
go
buy
spend
all
a
the
little
medical
money.
supplies. They pat it out with stems, and then they leave. So, that update is useless. Processed food is only even mildly worth it in a bulk hauler. Like if you're in something smaller than a caterpillar, you're not gonna touch it, And then, for distilled spirits, same thing with medical supplies. Like the refresh rate is terrible. I think last time I checked it, the price on distilled spirits was like $466. Base price is $406, so it's just astronomically overfreighted right now. So, like, great. You guys only have 3 things that are updating for prices, and 2 of those are useless to 99% of the people out there. And the other one is only useful if you're in a bulk hauler, so good job. Good job. Other than that, no way to find out anything in-game.
Yeah.
You have to go to, like, Galog, SC Trade Tools, aUEC, one of those, just to find out anything as far as pricing or where to take it.
So I made
it's really
30-some
bummer because it
thousand,
feels like the
and I'm going to
definition of an alpha
spend.
feature. Like, the gameplay is there.
Oof.
Cargo hauling is clearly
I
an
need there are 5 out.
expansive thing with
I like
a lot
buying
of little
off the shelf,
pieces
but
that can
I
be
don't think
mixed
the
in. We
5s
have,
are
like,
out.
box missions. We have, haul on your own dime. We've got dangerous cargo. We've got minerals, harvestables, cargo decks, like all this stuff that could combine to make a great game loop. But like they just haven't had the time to tie it all together. It's really
All right,
sucks.
so let's spend the money.
Exactly. And like I understand
Ouch.
because cargo hauling isn't
I paid for
flashy.
1.
Yeah.
Like mining, you can show off mining. Like there's lasers, the rocks explode. Like that makes a great episode
I don't
for
know why I
Inside
didn't
Star
just buy
Citizen.
2 right now.
Yeah.
Bounty hunting. There's lasers.
Okay.
Cargo hauling. What do you do? You go, hey guys, there's some new boxes. They're blue.
Nobody's ever released a movie trailer with like some cool
Oh, I did
music
leave all
and
that
somebody just
there.
like carrying a box to another ship.
I like to wear
exactly.
orange when
Like,
I run
Space
my
Truckers wasn't the best
raft.
movie in the world. I love it.
Space Truckers was
But,
awesome.
it's not the best movie in the world. It's not exactly a glamorous thing
I
to
should
show
probably
off
go buy
in
it.
a
That's
trailer,
probably like
so I understand
$2.99
why they
right
don't
now.
really- why they don't really pitch it to people, but
Sure. Well,
like
everybody
Go
knows.
ahead.
Everybody knows that people are pumped for cargo hauling. I mean, it's the backbone of the entire game. you can find, like, everybody wants to cargo haul, but like you said, it's not flashy. So like, cargo hauling is going to do a lot to fill out the amount of stuff that people.
Now
can
I
do
feel
to
like I can
play
go
the
do
game,
some
but I guess
bounties.
Maybe they just won't sell ships as well. It's also, like I said, it's
I'm
alpha.
gonna do
so
bounties
they've got it to a
in
place
this
maybe where
thing.
they're happy with it, and they want to wait for everything else to catch up.
I should.
Yeah, like, you know, the mechanics
get the extra
work,
15,000.
and I think the biggest issue right now, you know, you don't really worry about balancing in an alpha. So they know the mechanics for cargo hauling works. Like, you know, you show up to a terminal, you buy your boxes, you fly somewhere, you sell them.
Yeah.
The mechanics are there; they're established. As far as any sort of economy work, you know, that falls into balance, and I know they're not worried about it.
We're gonna go get one.
Again, you know, I feel like I should have a reason to haul like 90% of the stuff in the game. There's only like 6 commodities people actually worry about.
Yeah. So do you think that maybe selling will change that? Because suddenly, when they bring online selling, you don't have to haul cargo to get that same experience of transporting to make money. You could literally go into a bunker, kill a bunch of people, take all their armor and guns, and then return it to a shop, and kind of cargo hauling in that way. Could that be something that draws people away from the traditional cargo hauling that they've been doing?
Oh yeah, I think so. Like that'll be super fun right there. Because one, I mean, you know, it's fun to be a loot goblin. There are people that enjoy just grabbing absolutely everything they can,
filling it up. Yeah.
Exactly, and you know, going to go sell it, and you know, if you think about it, really, that's the real tier 0 salvage right there. It's just, you know, locally, like a farmers market sourcing all those supplies. You know, just you know,
funny terminology for the scenario.
Yeah, you know, it's locally sourced.
Locally
you know,
sourced.
It's all from your artisanal Nine Tails.
From bunker to table.
Exactly. Bunker farms.
That's awesome.
But yeah, like, I think that'll take some of the stress off of it.
Time to spend some real money.
That's what I want to see, and like, I feel like that'll also factor into the you know, they got hangars, I think, coming up in 317.
Right. Yeah, hangars.
Where you can store cargo.
That's a big one. So that's actually
I really want to make this purchase.
I had contacted Jack. I've been wanting to have.
I think the refresh rate
cargo for like 5 months.
No, let me do.
I was like, you know what? We're gonna wait for the perfect time. We're gonna nail this down right before the cargo rate factor. It's gonna be perfect. We're gonna be talking about the stuff they're showing on
Stronghold.
ISC.
I don't have a stronghold. This is force wall.
Off. Yeah, it's gonna be great. And then they.
That's a size 1.
We don't get to talk about those in terms of what they've told us, but the hangar.
You have a stronghold. I have a stronghold.
A big part in that I think a lot of people kind of either slept on or just didn't hear about.
The stronghold.
Can you talk a little bit about how these hangars are going to
FR 86?
Well,
why
you
does
know,
the stronghold cost more than the FR 86?
It's, you know,
up
development
to your
and all
knowledge.
that.
Yeah.
But you know, hangars, that's going to essentially be like you store it, you know.
136.
So
what?
any sort of cargo you happen to have, you can
why
actually
does a
store it in
grade
those
A
hangars. So that's
military
kind of the
cost
precursor
more than a
to that cargo system refactor, at least like the physicalization of it?
Industrial?
Because before you can really move all that stuff around,
I think the industrial is supposed to have more health, and it doesn't right now. At least Urkel is not showing it with more health.
And just never claim that ship, but they actually want, you know, inventory options.
I want to compare Stronghold and
the
FR 86
is supposed to factor into that. So
Urkel.
let's say you ethically source some titanium.
Ethically source.
You know, through whatever means. And you know, you either got to sit on it for a while, or you want to, like, you know, give it to your buddy, you know, Jim Bob, who's not on the server right now. So you just take it back.
Ethical.
Yeah, he's also ethically sourcing various things.
Good people.
Yeah, and you know, you take it back to your hangar and you store it. That way you can sit on it.
Can't think right now.
Either for, you know,
shield. Wow.
Not giving to offense. Or a third-party redistributor, as we could put it,
a vendor,
or a vendor. I like that. Let's go with vendor. Or you know, waiting for prices to get better. But yeah, like, you know, that's the first tier of it. Before you can move all that stuff, you got to have a place to put it.
Yeah.
So that's what that's going to be.
See.
And a big part of that is actually people are constantly talking about, you know, hey, we're getting all this money. People are buying all this money. Like, people are getting rich. What is all that money going to be spent on? We can't just keep buying ships. It's going to be things like that. You're going to be paying money to store your ships in hangars. You're going to be paying money to keep your cargo in hangars.
We don't want to hear all
that
that
stuff. That's going to start adding up. So for cargo haulers, I think it's going to be really
so
cool. So
regen is where it's got to.
Okay, well, I can buy this material at this price because it's
FR86
really good,
regens at 1440 per second,
and sell it in this
stronghold is 1200, so it does have faster regen.
Fast enough that I won't be losing money on the storage fees. And
what else is better?
The
like
logistics.
It's one of those things. Like how long do you sit on it? Do you wait for that price to get better? Do you pay those storage fees?
Mm-hmm.
And
so many other things are the same. Energy draws different.
If you don't feel like
517 versus 470,000.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like we have all these ways to make money.
So many other things are exactly the same.
Those credit sinks in game yet?
Yeah.
I bought quantum fuel for my Pisces the other day. It was 38 credits.
The health of the stronghold is actually more. The actual physical health of the actual device.
A T-shirt in
1500 to 1275.
Like there's something
max
needs to be
distortion
adjusted
damage.
Yeah, definitely. And
so I'm guessing the FR86
those are the kinds of and
has
it's cool
45.
You've been around for a while, Jack.
138
we haven't
distortion
been able to have
damage, max
conversations about
distortion
that stuff
damage.
Before. But
Well, the stronghold only has 1031. The parapet has
of
1441.
complex systems we've been talking
The full
about this whole
block,
time.
which
I
is
mean,
a military
hangars, like
B,
you said,
has a
scheduled for
43,000. So
good chance it won't come in that.
I guess if I
let's
get
be honest, but
hit with distortion,
it's
this one's
getting
way better.
Yeah, like the roadmap is more of a roadmap quest. Like it'll kind of like get you in the area, but it might not get you there.
Map quest, yeah.
The stronghold is
Like
only
the
supposed to be
Apple Maps
119,000. It is
But,
priced wrong.
They it's sort of like a hey, we're working on this, and it might end up in this area,
The
but it also
FR36
probably
is
won't. So just keep that in mind.
So that's
I
something
would,
to think about.
honestly, I
It's
usually
priced
say
wrong.
just stick to the monthly reports if you want to know what's actually coming up. That's usually the best, in my opinion.
Unless
yeah, like the roadmap is one of those things. Like, oh, that's coming eventually. That's nice, but I wouldn't put money on
let's
it.
see where it's priced.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
a different
let's
price in a different place.
Jump a little bit more into the exciting bits of the conversation.
Oh yeah,
I
of
wanna
course.
know-
Ooh, at Everest Harbor.
I want to hear from. This is a big one.
Wow,
so
at
feel free to
Everest
take some
Harbor it
time
is
to think about it.
119,000.
I want to know though, what is your end?
I didn't realize they
vision
changed the prices so much from place to place.
Say
Wow.
your high capacity cargo run.
So
from
how much is
the Stanson system to the Terra system?
86.
Talking about the logistics, the processes, the
It's
time.
only in
like
two
the different
places
ships
and it's the
people you
same
have to
price.
interact with.
136,000
What would be that
Orson and here.
full
Huh.
loop that you would have to go through that you hope to see in Star
What
Citizen
about
at some
the
point.
second one, the full block?
Oh man, that's a logistical nightmare right there.
Oh,
Man, it's such a big
Well, you know,
price
it all
difference.
really depends on like the cargo. Like most likely you're looking at manufactured goods.
Let's say
So,
yeah,
you know.
let's say Hurston's sending some weapons to Terra because Terra's actually getting a little sick of all the pro Earth.
I'm gonna
people.
get the 86 though.
Ah, yeah, you know they want to be the capital. But yeah, no. As far as that goes,
Okay, FR86.
I mean that's definitely not going to be a solo job right there. That's going to be a mixed group. I mean, obviously you're going to have like your escorts. I feel like piracy doesn't really get touched on enough there. But yeah, so you know, actual escorts. What I would look at before escorts though, scouting, route research. Like back when I'd run like in a group, back when trading was really big.
Good old
for
bowling.
us, that's what we would do. Like we would scout the area before bringing in, you know, the cargo ship. Before, after, make sure there's nothing as far as like a tail goes, checking out the area, see if things are spicy.
No eclipse.
And,
not that I need an eclipse.
You know, having a contact already in Terra would be nice, obviously. But it really depends. It really depends on the type of ship you're using. I'm going to assume something big, like a whole series.
All right.
Yeah.
Go haul
But
something
yeah,
else.
for
First,
something
let's
like
do the
that,
ship
it's going to be a mix of planning the route, seeing what all you're passing
before
through.
I leave here and forget to upgrade it.
Scouting beforehand. Usually, what
The
we
only
would
bad
do
thing is
send,
I'm
like,
going to
a
leave the
small
shield here.
Freighter. It's kind of like a bait freighter, if you will, just with something trash on it. Yeah, you know, a couple of thousand in UEC, and
all
you know,
right.
if everything was
and
good,
I can always
then
trade this out with
just bring
my
the rest
Karik.
through. Now, obviously, you know, death
Okay,
of a
here we go.
spaceman, you hire the person you like to lead.
Let me check the other account real
to
quick.
do that. That's
So it doesn't go
The
away.
replaceable
Okay.
one, red shirts.
yeah, the intern.
Yeah.
You know, Brian, who's not that good at accounting. Who
Been an intern for 2 years, still unpaid. take care of it.
Exactly. It's like, hey, Brian, we need you to run this freelancer full of processed food through this super risky route. We'll be right behind you all the way.
All right.
Brian's not great with
But
pilots.
yeah, and then of course, you know, you let a separate route slip too, which was also a tactic we used to use. Like, if someone was talking about trade in chat, it's like, oh yeah, you know, we're moving titanium from Humboldt to Area 18. Meanwhile, you're over in, you know, Aberdeen moving gold to Hurston.
Sure.
But you know, putting out just an amount of misinformation just in case, and then having the bait in case that doesn't go through. A competent escort. Also, in-ship security. Another thing that I feel like a lot of people used to neglect, and will for a while. Escorts are great. Escorts are fine. Sometimes people get on your ship that you don't want.
Why did I just come over here?
One of the greatest things you can have is someone who knows how to do FPS, who is already on your ship when that happens. Like, a lot of people worry about escorts, they don't worry about in-ship personnel. That's definitely a thing. Like, we used to do that all the time. Like, I had a guy who, oh my goodness, his kill counts. Whew. I mean, sometimes it was us too on accident. He wasn't the best when it came to aiming, but you get the job done.
These are in
like
you're
actual
talking about FPS missions.
Yeah. Well, like because like back in like 3.4, 3.5, the Caterpillar had this issue where it would spawn without being able to be locked, so like anyone could get on it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like,
C2 started like that.
But back then you pretty much only had like Olisar to spawn like caterpillars and things like that. So like my org, like we had an entire section devoted to just like ship personnel. So what they would do is, you know, they would literally just staff the ship, patrol the ship, make sure there were no stowaways. And if there were stowaways, then there would be some, you know, personnel restructuring. So yeah, like any sort of like FPS acumen was definitely highly regarded there, because there were quite a few stowaways back in the day.
Yeah, I remember. Oh my gosh, you would every time you would board your ship, there'd be somebody running behind you.
Exactly.
Ooh, yeah.
And I kind of miss those days, but
Wild West.
Yeah, that's just, you know, because that's the thing. You know, boarding in the game is a thing. People don't feel like it, but listen, like there are tons of pirates out there that make boarding an absolute profession.
Yeah, we don't have the damage model. You can't even disable a ship yet.
Exactly, but you can blow the doors open and get right inside.
Right.
And like I don't know if you guys ever see like Mongrel Squad, but premier pirate organization right there. They are effective at getting onto a ship.
They're fun to watch.
In a non-exploitive way, and holding you up for your cargo.
See, it's pretty cool that there are groups that can already do that without the tools to do it. I mean,
exactly.
That's cool.
And you know, like you do your best to avoid them, but the thing about cargo hauling and piracy is that, you know, you need to be lucky every single time. They only need to be lucky once. So like you just really have to, you know, to watch yourself while you're doing it.
Yeah, piracy is going to be high risk. I really do hope that it's high reward, but we're gonna run into the problem we've already seen, which is that people get pirated don't really consider it piracy, even though it is. They consider it to be, hey, you're not playing the game right, even though they're doing everything the game allows them to do.
Mongrel Squad is piracy. That is the best kind of piracy.
Task for CIG to take, but
because they all but go out of their way to let you know you're being pirated. They just don't kill you.
And like so back before the scrapyards were accidentally disabled, thanks to CIG, you could actually sell stolen cargo. It wasn't it was kind of a roundabout way.
I remember hearing about that.
So let's go to...
Okay, so
hey, that's still at our
you had to be a
parade.
rich pirate to do it, because you needed either a reclaimer or an 890 jump.
Where do I want to go?
But you could park just
let's
about
go
any
back
ship
to where
on the
let's
cargo
do the
grid
same
of
run
those.
again.
Park it at a scrapyard. It would count as that ship's cargo, and then you could sell it. It was tagged as stolen, but you could do it. So, like, say you hijacked
We'll
a
go to
Caterpillar
45
full of
first, and then
titanium.
back to 56.
That's like 500,000 credits right there. You know, you had to get on board to do it, but it was high risk, high reward. Now, 9 times out of 10, that Caterpillar pilot's going to self-destruct themselves. They're not going to negotiate. There's a lot of pirates out there who try to put the R in parlay, but there's some that just want to shoot and they go, "Oh, I blew them up. I'm a pirate," and that's what most traders see is
I'm a pirate.
The blowing up type, not the I'm in it for the profit type.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a reputation thing that'll fix that, or if that's more of a. I mean, there's gonna have to be something really difficult to get around if you're out there killing people, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm gonna bring them back up again, like the Mongol Squad guys. I've been held up by them before, but that's more of like that.
That's gameplay.
Organic reputation.
There you go.
Like, I've been held up by them before. I know that I can get out of this unscathed. Like, we'll negotiate. I'll send them a few thousand credits. I get to get out of here with my cargo. It's not exactly I wouldn't say a pleasant
few thousand credits
transaction.
That word
but
few.
It's amicable.
Does that mean what you think it means?
You're not dead.
Like, I know I can trust them. They know they can trust me. We can get through this.
We can
and everyone
negotiate.
comes out okay.
Yeah.
Little lighter in the wallet, but I'm not losing 400,000 in cargo. Yeah. Meanwhile, if yo ho ho Long John Silver shows up and just starts shooting me for no reason, it's like, all right, I don't know if I can negotiate with this guy.
Right.
Then like it all depends on that reputation, and I feel like a lot of that reputation is more organic, like what you hear from other players and anything you'll actually see like in game as far as like a stat goes.
Yeah, that could be the case. I mean, definitely for the regular players, people who know the groups that have been around since. I'm talking if we're in 2026, they know the groups who've been around since now 10 years, and they've been in game, and you start to know the names and you recognize them, and you know where they usually hang around. That's going to be pretty cool when we have that sort of extra awareness outside of the game's reputation.
Yeah, exactly. And
do I want to come back
you
to
got pirates knocking over other
Area
pirates
18 now, or do I want to go
like Chaos
somewhere
Squad
else?
They've done some fun work when it comes to piracy too, and sometimes you'll see two different pirate groups converging on the same hit, and like they'll start duking it out, and you gotta go, wow, like
we'll go to 45
it doesn't
first.
really matter who wins, I'm still losing, but I wonder which one's going to charge me less.
At least you get the show.
Exactly. You get the light show, you get the fireworks.
So going back to the cargo run from Stanton to Terra, we talked about how you're gonna have to figure out the scouting situation. You're gonna have to get a safe route, fast route, an efficient route. You're going to need multiple people, security, escorts, and you're going to need a market info. What about when you're getting to the air? So in my mind, I'm thinking if you have a Holty and you receive a job from Hurston who says, hey, we've got 10,000 SCU of weapons that we need to send. This is a huge shipment. Once every 2 weeks we do this, so like it's a big job, it's important. And you get that contract. In my mind, what I want to see is the ability for a player to say, it's not necessarily the fact that I'm getting the cargo there, it's that I'm making sure the cargo gets there. So
hit
I would
9
love
degrees
if that
pretty
player
quick.
could say, hey, I got this contract, but I could just pass it down to somebody that also that I know, who I know can get the cargo there. I'll promise them some of the profit, but technically it's still my job getting completed. Or I want to send 4 rafts out to all the different places that Hurston has to pick up from, so that I don't have to do it, and then they all just bring it to the space station, and I take it to my ship and then ship it out there. Is that I mean, like you said, you're fairly new to this as well in this game, but is that something that you've had in your head in terms of what you could see happening, or are you thinking something a little more structured?
No, easily. I mean, because like that's the thing too. I would love to see. Okay, so like you said, like just picking things up between multiple ships, or like subcontracting it out, or delegating it essentially. I don't know if you've played a lot of like Elite Dangerous, but they've got a few types of hauling missions where it's like source X amount of whatever. So like a station wants something and they want you to bring it. They don't really care where you get it. So like you have to go find it yourself, buy it, pick it up, and then bring it there. I'd like to see something similar with that, like with that type of mission where it's like, okay, I can get, you know, so-and-so or whatever group, subcontract it out to them, bring it here, or, you know, even pay them to bring it there. I still get the payment, like it's my job. We're just subcontracting or going through a third party to do it. You know, you're still getting the rep, you're still getting the money. You're just paying a bit for someone else to do it. But yeah, I would love to see that, like that type of flexibility in the contract. Like as long as you get it there, you can pursue any way to do it, you know?
That's a really good way of doing it. I didn't even think about that. Just give people a request for materials and then tell them to figure out how to do it. That's a super simple way.
Yeah, and like, you know, like Elite's had that for a while, and I wish that Star Citizen would just kind of blatantly steal that.
They're gonna have to. I mean, that's like
I'm coming in hot. Crap.
Market kind of thing, right? Somebody needs something, they ask for it. We have to get that at some point.
You can't copyright
okay,
a
not as
Fetch quest,
hot.
you know?
Yeah.
Not as hot as I thought it was.
What are you doing? That's like Ubisoft's thing. They would probably take you to the grave if you copyright a fetch quest, because that's like 30% of their missions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I have to throw some shade. At least one.
No, you're good. I mean, you know, like when you think about it, it always boils down to fetch quest or kill quest.
Right.
That's like
Escort.
99% of games.
Don't forget the escort.
And
was that the
what
same
I'm
as the
really
fetch?
hoping for,
No,
that
that's
a lot of people like about Star Citizen is that there's opportunity for different kinds of quests. Than those like cargo hauling, like we're talking about. So
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. I was gonna go ahead and switch on over to the economy itself. We haven't talked too much about quantum. We kind of touched on it briefly, but for just like the last 10 minutes here, I wanted to talk about like what you're getting from how they talk about quantum, and honestly, given the current selection of like minerals and stuff that we have right now, do you feel like we have enough things that they could create a diverse economy that people wouldn't be asking for more? Or do you think there just needs to be more thrown into the system to create something that people could really spend time on?
Make sure my second account is
You know,
go.
I feel like we could be satisfied with what we have as far as like the diversification in commodities, but
I would put the second
I would
screen
love to
up.
See more. I always want to see more.
Actually,
I want to see the
should.
economy
do
get
that
to the
real
point
quick.
where one person can't understand it or manipulate it, you know? I want to see it become not overwhelming, but challenging. Like again, for example, 90% of the routes we have right now are just outpost to main port city. I would love to see port city to port city, or you know, station to station, or reasons to do routes that we don't have right now.
Okay, there we go.
Right.
And you know, I feel like quantum can help a lot with that. I mean, even if they just had like basic materials going out to stations for, you know, refits or whatever, having a reason to go, oh, hey, this R&R is paying extra for titanium. I'm gonna do that for a while.
That's small.
Or, you know, oh, they had a gas leak. They're all out of hydrogen. Let's run this hydrogen for extra money.
Big enough.
Because like right now, you know, the prices are really static. Like everyone pretty much pays the same for everything. So
make it a little
there's
bigger.
no reason for me to take titanium from Ariel to Area 18 when I can just take it next door to Lorville for the same price. But you know, if there's like some news blurb in game where it's like, oh, Area 18 manufacturing ramping up for,
I think I have it on normal.
RTX 3080s or whatever, needs more titanium.
Oh, please.
Yeah. No, I'm on a 1070 myself. You know, I'm still waiting for something to be available. But yeah, you know, if it's like, hey, they're paying extra for titanium, it's like, you know what? I'll go an extra 30 million kilometers to get that payoff. Yeah, it's gonna take me a little bit longer. I could have taken it next door, but they're paying more. And to have a shifting economy, that's what I want to see. Because right now, it's 100% player decided. Like it's dynamic, but it's still
I don't know what
static
happened there.
in that dynamic state. Like, you know the highs, you know the lows, and all the prices are pretty much the same. There's a slight difference in some of the refresh rates or like demand, but there's no real reason to change your routes up unless you just want a change of scenery, and that's what hurts the most.
That's true.
So going to that,
I go to the same 6 places.
Getting to that
a lot
goal of quantum economy.
Like I usually come here, I almost never leave 45.
All these things that we've talked about. What are the kind of things that you've seen on like the
We'll take 41.
roadmap, progress tracker that they've talked about?
Perhaps I should go to 56 to get the Astatine for a little more.
Is there anything coming up?
645. I can't remember what the price is supposed to be, but we're taking this.
That we talked about in the cargo refactor.
Now, where to take it?
You know, I haven't.
Do I want to stay in 18 area, or do I want to go to?
It's weird.
I think I want to go to Hurston and do some bounty
hunting.
hunting.
All the professions that Star Citizen
I'm going to try to do it in the Taurus.
They keep really quiet on trade. And
no,
I don't know if that's like
I keep forgetting to grab that stuff.
Or
no,
if it's
I'm gonna leave it there.
The nature of trade, they want to keep people guessing.
I left all that orange armor
like,
at 18,
you know,
but
mining is also one of those like static things. Like you come up to a rock, you see some borace, like
you know,
and another helmet.
Yeah. Exactly. And the thing about trade
and
is
gifts.
It's one of those things where it's a gamble. You know, you show up, you make $1 million, or you might break even. And I kind of feel like I don't want to say they're neglecting it. I don't want to say that. I feel like that's being overly pessimistic. But I feel like there's a mystery with trade that they're trying to keep.
All right, let's see if I can remember to.
The more you know about the economy or trade in general, the more you can exploit it. I mean, that's just.
I didn't see him when I came in.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, a new player coming to the game is going to buy like 3 SU of medical supplies in their Aurora, try to sell it at another outpost, and wonder why they're making $1. But when they actually learn how to do things, I say that they're not actually going to make anything.
Because we're now.
That's CIG's fault, not the player's fault. They don't have high value goods in yet.
Yeah.
But I feel like the nature of trading in Star Citizen is self-discovery. Like you have to learn the knowledge to exploit it.
Anybody.
I'm going to hope that's the theme they're keeping to instead of just being neglect.
Did I just not see him?
They haven't really talked about trade a lot on like progress tracker or things in general.
I really do hope that you're right. Because they are surprisingly quiet about it. It would be cool if it's on purpose and they're trying to just
see. I don't have my chat open.
A system that we just don't have the insight about.
Well,
and
on this
that's a good point too as we move forward and continue on with these different professions and gameplay types. It's like, how much are they going to tell us that goes deep down to the actual core of the aspects that we're talking about?
Oh yeah,
the core
almost
of the
forgot again.
Versus how much are they
only
going
got
to
2 of them.
Mystery, and how much will they start to increase that mystery as we get closer to launch?
Exactly. Like, actually, I've got an example. As far as like them keeping mum about things. Okay, so you remember during last Invictus, back in April or May, whenever it was.
Yeah.
They had those special trade goods, like the audio-visual equipment,
the fireworks and stuff.
Yeah. Well, they actually had those in the journal too, so you could actually see what the prices were in various places. And they listed all of them except one. So helium was a thing in the game as well. And I forget what the price of it was, but like it was okay, like it was an all right commodity, but it wasn't the best thing. They just happened to have it for Invictus. And it was listed in the trade journal. However, there was one location that sold helium all of a sudden that was not listed in the trade journal, and it was $1 cheaper, which gave it an astronomical profit and profit margin. And it was at Humboldt Mines, which is a very hard place to land. There's no landing pads, pretty much all of the mountains. Very difficult to land a bulk hauler at, unless you've just, you know exactly how to perch it. But, like I'm out in the trade lanes and everyone's trading all this stuff. I'm like, you know what? I like Humboldt. Let's go pick up some titanium. And there's helium there, super cheap. Like it's like a full $1 cheaper than what's listed in the trade journal.
I really wish they would make a list on the side.
In the trade journal at all. So, I feel like they at least have that history of putting things in there for people to discover. And of course, once I found it and blabbed about it, then
we all
the
went.
price started going up a bit because other people were trading. It's like, oh man, I can get all this helium. It's super cheap. I can make all this money. Like we were making the same profit as like audio visual equipment with like 1/10 of the investment risk. Wow,
that's pretty nice.
It was.
But there's no armistice zone there.
But they gave no hints about it. I kind of feel like maybe someone put that in there just for things to be discovered. That's half the fun, is finding the route and learning it yourself so you can actually exploit it.
That's what it's all about. That's pretty cool. So I wanted to finish up then with hearing your opinion on
this is like the best thing for your truck when it breaks, when it We need to
a
jump start.
very cargo-focused event.
Put that away now.
And is inspired by one of the greatest cargo happenings of all time in Star Citizen's history. That is Jumptown 2.0 or V2, whatever they're calling it, that's coming up. Now, what are your thoughts on this? How do you feel it compares to the old version, and do you think it's a good one?
Oh boy, that's a question.
I'm not
right
looking
there.
forward to that much. I wanted to be looking forward to. I thought they were just gonna make it like it was and
okay,
just
so
sell the stuff.
The original Jumptown
They're
is
gonna
actually
change
how I
it.
got into cargo out of spite.
Best way to get introduced to something.
Yeah, exactly. And you know the thing about the original Jumptown, you know, like it wasn't even an event. It just happened.
Yeah.
You know, like there was zero CIG input on that. They just had some really good prices for Widow.
Right.
And it turns out that people like buying drugs, and there are people that also like shooting the people that buy those drugs. And you know, that was like 3.4, 3.5. Back then, there wasn't really a lot of money to be made, and you know, there were massive. Exactly, like you could buy ship components, but if you lost your ship, those components did not persist. So there were massive credit sinks. And you know, Widow selling drugs was one of the best ways to make money, as long as you could sit there long enough to fill up and leave, you know, with your ship intact.
Yeah.
But my biggest worry is that CIG is going to cash in on the fame of Jumptown without duplicating what made it great, which was, you know, the drug smuggling, the being able to actually sell the drugs. Like, for example, right now, you can't even sell most drugs. Because, like, the scrapyards are all offline. You can't sell to any of the scrapyards. Neon goes to, like, one location. You can sell Widow at one location. So that's everyone in the game across all servers competing for, like, 6 SCU of demand of Widow at Grim Hex. And maybe I'm just being pessimistic, but I'm hoping CIG can address those for the event. Now, that might not have anything to do with it. It might not have anything to do with actually selling the drugs. It might just be like, hey, bring us this generic, you know, stock so we can make the drugs, and you know, Cruise Deck is like, you know, hey, shoot these guys carrying the drugs. It might be something else entirely.
Yeah.
Because like I'm looking at the release, you know, it says talking about having both legal and, you know, illegal missions for Jumptown 2.0. So it's going to be a mission-based system for something.
It's definitely inspired by.
Yeah.
They're not trying to replicate the feeling, but I do think that you make a good point in that it feels a little bit wrong to use the name in that way, and I think it probably sets the expectations up in the wrong way as well. I think this could have been a great chance to honestly go after what started Jumptown 2.0. Maybe the game's not ready for that, but just to try and throw this event without making a big announcement and fuss about it, like with Xenothreat and Ninetales. Maybe they're planning on doing that with another one. Maybe the dynamic events system isn't far enough along yet for that, but it's gonna be interesting to see what this actually does.
I don't know if you can hit that thing or not. I've never hit it.
Exactly, and you know, I love to put my foot in my mouth over it. You know, like I want to be wrong. Because like Xenothreat was great. They did a good job with Xenothreat. And you know, like the thing that hurts me about the Jumptown 2.0 is they loved Jumptown so much that in 3.5 they killed it. Like, man, you guys really love Jumptown. We're gonna add in all these other drug labs, but in doing so, they killed Jumptown because now there were options to go elsewhere, and it was fairly easy to get into a drug lab, buy your stuff, and get out because there were like 3 or 4 new drug labs now.
Yeah. And nobody would buy them.
Exactly. And that's what made it great. And I'm hoping they realize that. I'm hoping they realize, you know, making that focal point in the area where everyone has to go there and then rub elbows or shoot each other to get that profit. Because like that's actually how I got into trade. I got so fed up with Jumptown that I said, screw it, I'm gonna go see how much money I can make doing legal trade. And it turned out that even with the abysmally low profit margin, you could make more per hour doing legal trade than you could during Widow during 3.5. And that's what got me into it.
Nice.
Hitting
Like,
F4 and going
I got
third
in the trade
person
out
is
of
like
spite.
putting out
I
a
got so
drone
fed up with running
or a
drugs
camera.
that I tried legal cargo and found out I could make more.
He went straight. I'm happy for you.
Exactly, exactly. It's like, you know, this widow is whack. I'm getting out of this. We're gonna haul some Agricium.
I'm gonna be a respectable
Looks like I had plenty of room.
But like that was the great
A
thing about widow.
respectable
Like, if you
trader.
had a tiny ship, you could still make money. You know, that's the great thing about drugs. Like, you know, if Jiggy Two Snipes shows up with his Aurora MR and he buys 3 SCU of Widow, he can still make money in a short amount of time. You can't do that anymore.
We need to get high value
exactly
cargo.
And like I feel like we need a legal option for that as well. Because like, you know, not everyone wants to pedal slam out of the back of their Mustang.
Yeah. And
Like-
we also need the I mean, I feel like we can't do high value cargo until we have high cost of running ships, or else people are just going to load star lifters with high value cargo and stuff.
Exactly. Like that's the big issue with Laranite. They say that Laranite is supposed to be that high value thing, but they put it at outposts that have bulk commodities. So obviously the bulk ships show up, they just buy whatever they can of Laranite, pad it out with the next bulk commodity of titanium or tungsten, and then take off. And there's nothing for the little guys. Like if they stuck that at Humboldt or Loveridge or places that only have like a non-bulk alternative, it would be fine.
I guess I can leave that on the ship.
Is that the solution you see?
Or
to
should
allowing for high
I
value
take
things
it
to
off
be
the
traded?
ship?
Because I was wondering, you know, if you're making all this,
I'll leave it on the
high
ship.
value market where people can transport cool things in small ships like Avengers and stuff, how do you keep all those big ships from taking it all?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I know I keep coming back to Humboldt.
Yeah, you gotta put it at Humboldt.
Like, Humboldt would be my perfect example. Because again, yeah, like it's super hard to land at. There's no pads. It's just all mountain. Like it's very like you can get a Caterpillar or a C2 there, but you got to be careful to do it. Now you can land a small ship there, no problem. Like Elite actually solved this with their pad system for their trading, because you know they have outposts that can only support like small ships, medium ships, and while you won't make the same amount of money as you would in like a large hauler, the profit margin and overall profit is still better. So it's not equal, but it's comparable. And
makes people make a choice.
Exactly. And
If
right
they-
now, the way Star Citizen works, as long as you're within 250 meters of a terminal, you can buy
Yeah,
to
this is definitely a better way to
kinda
get the second account
shuts
out.
that down. Now, once the cargo
Store the
refactor
ship and they
comes
just
online
they
and you
just get
actually
put
have to
away.
land and manually load all this stuff up, that actually might change.
They just need
That's-
to
that's-
artificially
Come on,
limit
let me
where
see the
those ships are.
Taurus.
Exactly. Like, you know, I can load those 3 boxes into an Aurora at Humboldt, but doing it in a C2, that's going to take a day, you know?
Yeah.
And versus like SCD1 where you've got flat pads right next to the admin building. So yeah,
Now the long
I'm
walk
hoping that
to-
fiscalization will help that too, where they can restrict that to the smaller ships.
That would be good. That's gonna
I hope
add a
they're
lot
right.
to
That'll
it.
be
I
awesome.
hope that doesn't get
Humboldt
delayed
like places for small ships to get high value
I remember when we were going to
quality,
have it in 2020.
high quality
We're gonna have
cargo.
salvage and repair in 2020, 2018,
Yeah.
and 2019.
Salvage and repair. Oh, look at that, right on time.
Yeah, let's not talk dates. It's just a sad conversation.
That's fair. Yeah.
But
no,
this-
that's fair.
This has been a great freaking conversation, Jack.
It
I'd
has
like to
been.
thank
I've
you
enjoyed this
so much for joining me for another episode
That was
of the
awesome.
Launch Sequence podcast, dude. It's been a blast. This has been cool. I hope we can continue to meet up and just talk about this.
I am
topic,
going to
'cause I
try
have
to
I have
turn them
nobody
into
cargo
like
in my life.
make
I
it
mean, I
sound
do.
like a radio
I have
when they
a lot
talk.
of people. I'm not
I ask their permission to use their
I got tons of cargo.
They're streaming
but
when I
always
play.
need more. So I hope we can continue to catch up and just chat about Star Citizen.
Maybe they'll let me even use older
Yeah, man,
ones.
it's been great fun.
And I can like
Thank you for
tell
having me
them.
on.
Of course. And thanks to all
I can
our
announce
supporters who are actually
when this one
listening
was
live
recorded,
right now.
things
If
like
you
that.
decide to ever join Patreon, which is the main way that we support this
Probably
podcast,
shouldn't use their live
ad-free
ones,
for
'cause-
everybody, the audio podcast. You do get the chance to hop on this podcast live, check it out, talk to the guests before and after, or rather mostly after, and I guess benefit from some of the other perks of doing a big rework here at the end of the year. So maybe check that out. Also, definitely check out the YouTube channel. We're putting out a video about the Raft, which is a new ship that'll be focusing on cargo a little bit, so you might be interested in that. But besides all that, I'd just like to thank everybody for being here for 28 episodes so far. It's been a blast. I've had a blast. And one last time, Jack, just like to thank you for being here.
Hey, man, like I said, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course.
I should probably put on some
Well,
music.
everybody, I've been your host, Keenan. This has been the Launch Sequence Podcast, and we will see you next week.
That was awesome. I'm going to finish up this trade, and I might do a bounty, and then I'm going to be done myself. I'm going to get rid of them before something else starts playing. Oh, I'll put some music on. Everybody likes music. We're going to put on some free Harris Heller. Probably not what I needed to play, but we'll go with it. A little upbeat. I've not been looking at chat at all today. So that's pretty cool. I like listening to people talk about Star Citizen while I play Star Citizen, because usually I stop playing and I'll watch YouTube and I get nothing done on my account. So I'm gonna send them some DMs and see if I can play probably their older stuff while I play, and then maybe direct people back to it. I'm not going to broadcast their live stuff while I'm live. That would be counterproductive for them anyway, not me. Let us sell Saya. Again, I didn't memorize the price, so I have to take a screenshot. I've started deleting like hundreds of screenshots of prices. I have no idea what I made off of that. So, oops, my bad. That's right, this isn't on the screen, so I have to say something. So I sold the diamonds for 98.4. Bought them for 86, so that's good. 12,000. Almost 12,000 exactly. And I bought the Layer Knight for much easier when you only have to do one. You don't have to wait for multiple ticks. Layer Knight was paid 109.3. Not as good as I was hoping. Yeah, it really pays to. What was the price on that? It was only 30 here. It was 30. What was it? 18. To go back, Astatine. It was 31.1, and here it was 30.85. So not as good bringing it back here. Should have stayed at 18 with the Layer Knight. And how much did I? 23. Bought it for. Oops, I went too far back. Bought it 109.3, 123.4. Didn't get that much, so I can't expect that much. But it was okay. That'll do, donkey. So, got a better shield. Is there anything I need down here? I think I'm good. Do I want to put attritions on the small craft? I think the Titan is good. The Titan's down there. I do have an arrow. I'm not flying that. I think I'm gonna go do a quick time is it 6:30? I should probably quit, but I think I want to do a quick bounty in the Taurus. We'll the size 5 as a new shield. And maybe pick up some diamonds on Apparel? Maybe. I don't know if I want to do this again though. The tram rides are just kicking my butt. I am just trammed out.
Let passengers disembark before boarding.
You see how long I've been streaming? At least an hour and 10 minutes, because that's how long their stream was. So, yeah, hour and 15 minutes. I should probably kill it there. That's not too long. Let's try this. We'll like, let's take this mission now. See if I can share it with my other account. Oops, no. Oh, why don't I have... Glad I didn't get messed with. I don't have call to arms. A call to arms. Snap. Well, there he is. No time limit on that. And I can share it with the other account. Alright. Chat's been slow lately. I love the trams. I think they're neat, but man, they get old.
Please watch your step when disembarking the train. Away from the platform edge when train is approaching.
Gonna go get Nix Cantwell. And I may go to... I guess I'll stay here. Come on. Please, fate. Alright, Hangar 7. Hangar 7, please. I can put this on repeat and just listen to this the whole time I play. More pretty Taurus. Lots of alt tabbing. Alright, we're gonna go after him in a... I mean, it's almost a gunship. The Andromeda is considered a gunship. I guess it's a missile boat, but... as long as I don't get in a dogfight with him, I stay back and pound him with the size 5s. Throw a missile or two. Okay, let's call ATC.
You are clear to launch.
I'm clear to launch. Alrighty.
Thank you. And please visit again.
Really? Is this one already up? Oh. Whoa. Bobbin. Oh, I thought somebody came in. Okay, let's go. Oh yeah, I'm not going to a planet. I'm not going to Bezdek. I was thinking about going to Bezdek. Pick up some Laranite, but... I should move this back, dude, real quick. Might have been a second. And let me make sure this character has... Because I didn't log off of this one. Should have call arms. If it's an easy kill, I will try to kill the others with the turret. I was on the size 2 in that turret with the size 2s for Xenomorph. It was Xenothreat. It was fun. I'm used to doing this in my fighter, so I have to be careful. And I can be seen from way further out. Whoa, somebody brought me the food. That's good. Man, oh man. Okay, live broadcasting is getting cut short. What says I have to eat? Okay, let's get in here and do this really fast. Oh no, they're not gonna do. Oh, this is. That's like a bug. I gotta get rid of those missiles. hitting him, but that's bunk those missiles won't launch. That is a super bug. That's irking me. There they go. Maybe it's not a bug. Size 5's gotta be hurting. Let them get behind you. That'll be all of that. Huh, I thought it was a bug. I don't know why they weren't. They have a friend. I thought he had a friend. Okay, so I've been on here a while. I need to get off of here and do something. That was fun, so I am going to try to... What's this guy doing? Somebody's got me radar block. This one's coming. I think somebody else is fighting out here. I am out of here, and I am out of here. I was gonna run one more trade route, but I think I'm done. I just wanted to do their show. To ask permission to use their YouTube. Probably their older ones. Alright, thanks for watching. If you come back and watch this, no one watched live. Kill it right now. That is radio. I'm gonna kill it right now.